Hey, it's Eben. Right here in this video, you're going to learn about business startups. For more advice and tips to help you in business, make sure to click the link you see in this video or go to ebenpagan.com.
As your business grows, you will experience more and more opportunity, more and more distraction. It's critical that you stay focused on only those projects and activities that will bring you the greatest results. Use this exercise to focus yourself and your team on the critical projects and opportunities to pursue. Now, a lot of people who are growing businesses, the opportunities just overwhelm them. It's just too much to see them all. What do I do? I mean, do I focus on the opportunities for tomorrow? Do I focus on today's opportunities? And this is my version of a good way to prioritize and think about all the different things that you can work on. You'll notice there's a little blue tab next to each headline. Okay? So the first category is strengthen and streamline money-making. Streamline and strengthen money-making. Start with your money-making, then streamline, automate, delegate, scale, and optimize. Now, you remember we defined money-making before as those activities that are the things that ring the cash register. And they're typically at the fringes or almost external to your business. They're things like a great marketing process that you developed that just runs and just works. An ad that happens to convert, a website that has traffic come to it and the process just works. An upselling process that you use during the transaction. You sell one product, then you sell another product, and it's a curriculum. And once a customer comes in and finds out about all of them, then that's it. They just buy a bunch of them. That's the money-making stuff. And then the business is the base of the pyramid that supports all of those money-making activities as a distinction. We identify them, we talk about them as our secret sauce. So streamline and strengthen money-making. Now, what is streamlining? Streamlining is removing some of the friction from the process. If you're running and you've got barbs on you and it's catching on things like Velcro, you want to start pulling those off. Look at the process of how it works and look at where there are sticking points and look at where it falls over. You remember Scott here was talking about the, I think it was the plastic surgeon who said, oh, we got a ton of business from referrals and we do a great job at it. And he said, okay, well, let's call up your office manager. And the office manager said, yeah, we asked for referrals 7 out of 10 times with clients. And the client did the math and realized that because they thought they were doing a great job, but they were only doing it 7 out of 10 times because they didn't have a system, that they had lost $2.2 million in sales. Ouch. That's a streamlining thing. Just putting a little system in place to make sure it gets done every single time. I guarantee you that in your money-making processes, you have things that can be streamlined. And you have optimizations you can make. And then strengthen. What does strengthen mean? Well, maybe you can put a more industrial strength system in to support it so that it can process more. It can do it faster. It can do it more efficiently. Make the process stronger so it can handle more throughput. Does that make sense? Good. I think it's a good idea to maybe have 60% of your focus on strengthening and streamlining the current money-making systems that are running and bringing money in. That's most of your time. Most of your time, effort, energy, results, internal resources. In other words, take care of what's working. Don't abandon what's working. Identify it, talk about it, make sure everybody in the company knows not to screw it up. I've had experiences in our business where we'll have someone make some change to one of our websites or some of our copy or something, and I'll come back and I'll say, what were you thinking? And they go, oh, I don't know, it just didn't look good. I wanted to make that tweak in design. I said, well, that thing right there that you changed is like our lungs or like our kidney. Like everything that happens in our business goes through that process, and you just tweaked it without thinking about it. Did you ever think about that? The person says, no, but I made it better. If you say to the group, and of course my team right now wants to slap me because I've said this a little too much, I say things like, before you change any piece of copy that's going to go in front of customers from the brand that I created, that's my voice, just run it by me. shoot me an email and show it to me. Now, is that micromanaging? I don't know. What it is for me is a control that's in place that makes it so that people don't screw with the stuff that's working without asking. And people do these things innocently. They're doing it to help. They're doing it to try to make things better. So, strengthen, streamline money making. You got to identify it first. Second, develop your discoveries. Do you remember I talked about how success is this weird paradox of creating the future and discovering the future? An image that came to me when I was thinking about this is that in life, in the staircase of life, the next stair is usually lit. And then maybe one that's way, way up high. But all the rest in between, we don't know. They're just not lit up. And you can't see what the one after this one is until you get up onto that one. There's a huge element of discovery that happens. You can't see what the next one is because you haven't learned the lessons you need to learn and you don't have the tools. Who got up to the next step with the see-through and the customer avatar paradigm? Who got up to that next step with customers? Okay. Let's try that again. Who got up to the next step in some way with that paradigm? Okay, good. You couldn't have seen that step without that model, without that training, without that input. So please be open to doing this in your own life, with yourself. Know that to get to the next step after this one that you see in front of you, you need to get up onto that one. And so with this piece, we're going to develop what we have discovered. You've discovered some things recently that could be opportunities. You've tested them. It looks like that they could really go and they could become big. But you don't want to stop all of this money making that you're already doing. You want to make sure and do these things at the same time and only dedicate a little bit of your resources. So, what opportunity have you discovered that is worth developing? And then finally, seeing a future reality to create. There's a website, and they've even written a book, or had a series of books, and they go and they ask the eminent scientists of today and thinkers, and this is an ironic thing to ask scientists, but it generates great answers. They say, what do you believe but you can't prove? What do you believe but you can't prove? Scientists come up with things about what they believe about psychology or what's going to be discovered inside of humans and all kinds of great stuff. What do you believe but you can't prove? And I think when you ask yourself that question, you realize that you figured some cool stuff out that other people haven't seen. You can see a future to create that other people can't see. And these are the things that deserve a test. When you ask yourself, what do you believe but you can't prove about the future? Then you can start working on it a little bit. And that might be 10% of your time. And you can see there's a little blue tab next to each that talks about where to put your focus. What do you believe but you can't prove? And by the way, this is the fun stuff. This is the stuff that keeps you inspired. This is the potential home run that you're going for. You hit that one out of the park, boom, it's over. That's a rocket ship right there. And this is the place where you look at trends that are coming together and you say, hey, if this one intersects with this one in a few years and we were ready for it, oh man, that could be huge. We were the only one there. Altitude came from seeing this future reality. That's truly where it was born from. I could see that there really wasn't a place that this information that we're talking about here was being shared, because most of it I'd never really heard of and said in quite this way. And I saw how valuable it was to us, and I saw that we were building our team using all of these unusual methods about respecting the individual and kind of self-organizing teams and stars and all this stuff. I saw it happening. I thought, if other entrepreneurs knew this stuff, I just believe that they'd want to have it. I think they'd want to be exposed to this. I think they'd want to save themselves 5 or 10 years of hassle and money and whatever to just get the stuff right up front. And there was a lot of testing and a lot of trying stuff out and a lot of controversy. Inside of our team, several people just kind of said, that just seems like it's weird, it's out there, but I really, really believed in it. And we did some tests and they kind of kept working. And I justified at least to myself anyway, justified the decision to keep pushing forward. And I think that we're getting some great results right now. But that's where this was born from, was there. So here's what I'd like you to do. In each of the boxes, write down, so at the top one, write down your top 3 to 5 money-making activities. What are the systems? What's the money-making in your business? Where does it come from? The stuff you do not want to screw with, and the stuff you want to start telling your team, look, here's something that we don't want to mess with. This is a model that's working. It's an advertising model, it's a marketing model, it's a set of products, it's a curriculum. Whatever it is, we do not want to screw with that. And in fact, we want to streamline it and we want to strengthen it. And we want to put some optimizers on it. 3 to 5. Next, one opportunity you've discovered. You've tested it, you've got some results, and it looks like it could be really good for the future. Develop your discoveries. And then finally, seeing a future reality. What do you believe but you can't prove? Just start with that question.